Hey everybody, this is Doug Guardsman, and welcome to this week's news update. I'm going to be using my old mic for this, so you may hear static and popping, but it's at least better than having a super quiet microphone. Eventually I'll get around to fixing that. I have some cool ideas of how to do it, which involve using a speaker and reversing the inputs and outputs. But I'm probably going to blow stuff up. But cool thing is, MFFS is working. We've got it updated. Once the Scala code was converted, it was a really simple process to start to get things to work again. Not much really required in doing that, as the code was already sort of updated for 1.7.10. It just needed to be modified and rewrapped around a few APIs and libraries and stuff. Though don't get it wrong, we still have a lot of work to do. But the mod is now playable. We are releasing alpha versions on Curse. Alpha versions are only for testing. Do not rely on them in order to play your world, and do not put them in mod packs. So I'm giving no mod pack permissions out, and if you have existing mod pack permissions, I'm going to really need you guys to re-ask for them back when we get the beta thing. I'm not going to deny any existing permissions, but I do like to keep a record of what mod packs have what mods in them. This helps me monitor you guys when it comes to following the Minecraft ELOA, which I'm required to sort of do. And this also helps other people find your mod packs. So I'm going to be end up making a list here later that'll show up on the website that'll go like, here's the top rated mod packs with the mods in it. A few other changes here, since I haven't been releasing videos on MFFS itself. I redid the GUI. This is the new GUI. This is not exactly what it's going to end up looking like. I'm still going to keep changing it. I got rid of the scaling and translation cards. They're probably going to be gone for good. I was originally thinking of, well, you could just add them into the machine by right-clicking, and they would just stack up inside the machine, and you would use it to control how these behave. I'm not going to be doing that. I have a brand new design for the mod. I'm probably also going to fork the mod here in a couple days. There's going to be a classic version, since I did this with ICBM and I made the mistake of not making a classic version when I modified it. I'm going to leave the classic version alone, and anybody who wants to keep working on it can. And then we're going to work on a new version, which is really going to take the name modular to name. We're going to have a lot of multi-block machines. Multi-blocks will not be enforced. They will be optional. So what we're going to do, take this machine for example. This is the projector. I'm going to get rid of the hologram part off the top of it when it becomes multi-block, and this will be part of another machine altogether. The GUI will disappear off of here, and you'll be stacking these machines on top of each other to increase the amount of power you have available. Power will directly control how big your force field can get. So that'll be your scaling cards, essentially. And then this will connect to a computer that will control it, which will have the GUI and may have that hologram on top of it, depending on how the visuals work out. Then we're going to be doing processors, which will connect to the computer. Processors will increase how far you can translate it and just how big the field can actually physically get. Because even though power allows you to have more blocks in your field, the computer allows it to understand where to put those blocks. So I actually may make the computer not control the size of the field, but how quickly it updates maybe. That might be a better solution. That way it's easier to understand and not two limits for the same variable. Most likely the biometric identifier, we're going to get rid of the slots cards here. This is already planned on the list. The slot cards were cool, but they were a little inconvenient for people to add to the force fields, because you had to have a card per person per force field. I'm going to be creating a more globalized system here. This will be used for all my mods, that you can create a permission system. And what we'll end up doing is the biometric identifier will lock into that global system, and you just have to add usernames to that system. And you just have to identify which of the global lists you're using. So you'll have a global list that you can say use for all your sentry guns, all your turrets and stuff. And I'll say like these two lists can combine together, and if you put a name on one list, it shows up on the other list. Or you can create subgrids or whatever. That's the plan at least. The capacitors, we're still not sure what we're going to do with yet. Several of us who are working on the mod kind of want to get rid of the capacitor and the cohere driver, because they don't really make sense anymore. Right now, the only reason we have it is because the mod has its own power system internally. This is called Fortron. It's a fluid-like plasma that you can actually pump around and put in tanks and stuff, which is cool. Although putting them in tanks created an imbalance in the mod really badly because people could create these massive tanks and then pump Fortron back into the machines and then nobody could ever collapse your force fields. Although we're going to be using EMPs to kind of enforce that behavior here later where you can actually collapse force fields, that the more EMPs you hit a force field, the more you start damaging these generators, and eventually the generators will collapse and stop working. But that'll be something later that I'll work on and have to really, really balance on our Volts mod pack. But other than that, that's a lot of plans here. New cool thing, I'm finally bringing Universal Electricity back as the Universal Energy API. It's an internal API inside Volts Engine. It's always been on the plan to bring it back. This is of course this is actually a UV battery that we're looking at right here that actually works. Although the texture worked on it. Let me grab one that actually has a working texture. Hopefully not crash myself because I think the RF battery's textures are broken or will actually crash. Because here's the RF battery. This is a full implemented RF battery, and this is a UE battery with full implemented UE code. The cool thing about this also has RF code on here, but I didn't actually code any RF support for it. I brought back the Universal Energy's auto code injection system. What the auto code injection system does is I simply can specify at the top of a class file, which I'll go show you here in a second. I can find the class. Here it is, Universal Battery. Okay, so if you look at this class and you're familiar with coding, which you most likely aren't, this is just, there's nothing in here really power-wise. Only power code in here is this buffer, which controls all the energy inside the machine. And there's a return method at the bottom, which actually lets things access it remotely. But what adds the RF integration is this thing at the top, inject template RF energy handler. So I can make a template, and then I can specify, hey, I want this template on this machine. And I can do this for anything now. I took Calclavi's original code, which was designed only for power networks, and I made it work for anything. It'll literally work on anything now. So I can make AI templates, I can make inventory templates, I can make AE integration templates, crafting templates, everything. And I can auto-inject them into the code without having to recode everything. The downside with this is this does increase load time very slightly per tile that you're injecting. So I have to go look into a caching system for this later. But it shouldn't be that big of a deal. If it becomes an issue, all you guys have to do is start opening up issue tickets on my engine and simply say, hey, the injection code is starting to slow our mod pack down a lot, and give me some statistical number showing it that it is, and I'll work on it and fix it. Other than this, I'm back to working on freelance projects again. I had the last week off. I wasn't working anything. I'm working on a new project. You can't tell what it is, but it's JavaFX. I haven't used JavaFX much, so I'm using it, and I'm actually using the GUI builder. It's not what I expected. It's a little bit more complicated than it should be, but at the same time, it's not hard. It's mainly equivalent to building a web page, because if I show you the code for it, if I go open this up, this is literally what a Java FX GUI looks like. And I was surprised when I was sitting here messing with it of just how similar it is to HTML. You actually can use CSS code. So all of your actual visuals can be controlled with CSS templates and style sheets. And I thought that was cool. But at the same time, I'm not much of a web developer, which is making this a little harder for me than I thought it was going to be, because I have to start remembering how to do stuff like this. And it's not something I'm not going to be able to get done. It's actually, I'm probably going to, by the end of the week, be done with this entire GUI. Although the client wants much, much more than just this GUI. I can't show you the actual sheets because even though the client hasn't asked for confidentiality, I try to keep a good portion of stuff confidential. That way I don't ruin the client's image at all or do stuff like that. But I'll talk about it some more in the future, at least when it comes to a programming aspect. For example, I figured out how to remove the Windows bar off the top. I didn't think that was possible in FX. And this is all the code you need to actually open the GUI, which makes it really, really interesting. So for some reason, my swing arrow dialogues no longer work. And I tried using the Java FX version of an arrow dialog, and it also doesn't work. So anytime this GUI crashes, you just get a blank window. And I have to fix that. So I have to work on loading data from web servers. The code for that's already there. I just trying to get JavaFX to give me the panel I'm looking for. Something tells me the code I got off the internet is wrong, and I have to go open a few books and go read them real quick, which I got a stack of books over here that probably have JavaFX stuff in it. Other than this in the news, so there actually is a timeline set forward from when we're planning on releasing everything for MFFS. I'm going to go pull it up really, really quick. I don't remember it off the top of my head. And keep in mind, this is a guideline for when we're going to release it, not a set-in-stone release plan. So don't judge any of your plans off of it. So don't go like, hey, we're going to have a big MFFS party on this day because Dark's going to be releasing this. Don't do that. I'm not responsible if it doesn't get released on time and you guys ruin your plans. Just take it with a grain of salt when I say the release dates. Let me get these open here. Okay, so August 13th, which is here in 3 days, is when we plan to have the alpha release ready for normal use. Normal use means that you guys can start using it in your world without having to worry about things breaking badly. August 31st is when we plan to have the beta release done. This is when you can start using it in mod packs and don't have to worry about things breaking absolutely horribly bad. And there's never going to be a full release. None of our mods we ever do full releases with the exception of the single block mods, because the single block mods are simplistic to develop. We know with almost a pretty good confidence that they're stable and you can do whatever you want with them. But when it comes to large mods like MFFS, making a full release is only ever going to happen when we go from developing the mod to go to maintenance mode. Maintenance mode means the only thing we're going to be doing is fixing bugs. We're never going to hit that point, because we have so much content planned. We have things like light bridges planned, security doors, different like traps and stuff to use with force fields. I may end up even making weapons and armor that use the force field technology, because we were planning another mod. It was called EFFS that we had given to one of our interns to work on, who then disappeared. That was basically going to be MFFS re-envisioned as a more utility-based mod, not just a defensive mod. So we were going to have all kinds of cool little toys to play with that use the force field technology. But that's way down the road. The goal for these releases, especially the beta release, is just getting multi-block support up and getting the new framework set up that we're going to be using. The alpha release is, of course, going to be mostly what was already in MFFS, just fixed and a couple GUI changes and stuff. Beyond FMFS, I'll be working on ICBM here. ICBM is mostly just going to get EMP improvements and stuff. We're still working on testing EMPs with thermal expansion. I still have to add IC2 support to the EMPs. I know a few people have complained about that. There's also a few bugs with Project E I have to fix that were unexpected. And other than that, not much in the news. Pretty quiet. I can let me show you. Oh, that's, you guys didn't see that. Pretend you didn't see that. That was it. Oh crap! Why does this keep opening up? Oh, there we go. That's why. Yeah. So yeah, you guys saw the GUI I'm working on for my client. Just ignore it. It's fine. Let's see. So Poopsicle here is which I wanted to show. He's the guy who's responsible for helping us get MFFS up. Now he didn't do most of the work, so don't go saying like he's the savior and king, but thank him for his help because he has helped us out pretty good. He's going to be the guy who's going to be maintaining MFFS when I'm not working on features. Because he actually did a good job. Before we got MFFS updated, he actually had made his own update of it. The only reason we didn't use his update is because he had stripped quite a few features out of it that I didn't want stripped out and had gotten rid of things that I wasn't ready to get rid of. So when updating stuff, especially when converting code, the first thing you want to do is just convert it straight in raw. Then get it running, then strip features out. Unfortunately, he had stripped features out while he was converting and stuff, and it didn't go out very well. Also, if you see DMod, thank him too. He's been He's about the only reason why we actually have mods developed in the first place. He runs all of our build servers. He does just about everything for us that we need done. And then that's also thank Kalatra and other people too. That's about it here. Not a lot else in the news to deal with. Just going to be streaming most likely every day, but that's going to be hit or miss. In this month I probably can do it as soon as it hits September, because September 5th I start classes. I'm going to be taking 5 classes. Normally I only take 3, so I'm going to be swamped. So my ability to stream is going to be really challenged. Plus I'll be moving to a new house here at the end of this month, and I don't know what my internet situation is going to really be like. I'll most likely always still be able to work on mods because I can literally plug my cell phone into my computer and do that. It's not hard. Um, but streaming is all dependent on what my bandwidth is. Right now I've got like 10 megabits down and 2 megabits up. 2 megabits is roughly exactly what I need to stream, and I'm really hoping to get double that. If I can get double that, there's a really good chance that I can start streaming some of the games I play for you guys. I actually play quite a few games. I'm not just exclusive to Minecraft. I play Starbound, I play StarMade, I play Space Engineers, I play World of Tanks, World of Warships, Armored Warfare. I play all the Civ games, and I mean I've got a nice group of people I play with too that I'm pretty sure you guys would enjoy watching. But other than this, you guys have a nice day, and this is the stream. And look out on Twitter for the next time I'm going to be streaming and releasing videos and stuff like that.